There comes a moment when you're left with two choices. Do you stay weak or become something greater? Nobody is coming to save you. No one will hand you strength. You earn it, just like me. The weakest hunter who became the strongest. You have to carve your own path.
I have forgotten it's survival of the fittest in this world. This world filled with violence, deception, and betrayal. Okay, that's right. I got numb to it. Careless, overconfident, delusional. And now the system expects me to murder my enemies. Does it need to keep me alive for some reason? This isn't coincidence or charity. The system wants me to live. It wants me strong.
I was the weakest hunter, the one people laughed at, the one they pitied. Every dungeon, every mission, I stepped in knowing I might not make it out. I was constantly bleeding, constantly breaking. I fought with cracked ribs, with torn muscles, with fear gripping my throat. But I kept going, not because I was strong, not because I was fearless. I kept going, because I had no other choice. That's how life is. It doesn't care if you're tired, if you're scared, if you're begging for mercy. It moves forward, with or without you. And if you fall behind, it will leave you there to rot. Then, a moment, a chance. The system appeared, a way out, a way forward. But let me tell you something. Power means nothing if you don't have the will to use it.
The strong go into every situation with an advantage, while the weak quiver in fear or stand around helplessly. The weak get looked down on. Doesn't matter how smart, creative, or kind they are, the weak always lose. I always lose. My kindness never saved me, no. What I need now is true strength.
Luck, opportunity, they come and go. What matters is what you do with them. When life offers you a way forward, you either take it or you stay where you are, trapped, forgotten, weak. I took it, and at first, it was hell. The training, the endless dungeons, the enemies that should have torn me apart. My body screamed, my mind begged me to stop. But I kept moving, kept pushing, because I knew if I stopped, if I slowed down even for a second, I'd lose everything. Listen to me. There is no success without pain, no strength without suffering. People think they want to be strong. They say they want to be great. But when the fire comes, when the struggle begins, they break, they run, they make excuses. You think I just woke up one day and became the strongest? Number, I earned it. Through blood, through sweat, through every moment where I should have died, but refused to fall. Through every time I was alone, every time I had nothing, every time the world told me to give up, and I didn't. You think life will hand you success just because you want it?
I think I get it now. If the system is bent on using me, I'm just gonna have to use the system. Thanks for the reminder. The weak always lose no matter what. That's the way it is. I should be grateful. The system's given me another reason to make sure you die in your hut and hut. So now I want to know if the hunters are ready to be preyed upon.
Are you strong enough to take it back? Here's the truth. There are no limits. None. The only limits are the ones you set for yourself. Every day, every battle, I pushed myself harder than the last. Because I knew, if I ever stopped, if I ever got comfortable, I would lose everything. You can't settle. You can't slow down. If you're not improving, you're falling behind. That's the difference between those who rise and those who fall. The ones who fall, they complain. They blame the world, their circumstances, their weaknesses. But the ones who rise, they take every failure, every hardship, every moment of suffering, and they use it. They let it fuel them, let it drive them, until they become something unstoppable. You want to be strong, you want to succeed, then fight for it, every day, every second, even when you're tired, even when you're broken, even when it feels like the whole world is against you. Because in the end, the only thing that separates the strong from the weak is persistence, the unbreakable will to keep going, to keep fighting, no matter what. I started as nothing. I became the strongest, not because I was lucky, not because I was chosen, but because I refused to give up, because I kept going when everyone else would have quit. So now I ask you, what will you do? Will you stand up? Will you keep moving forward? Will you take every hardship, every failure, every pain, and turn it into strength? In the end, you either hunt or you become the hunted. Make your choice. So, tell me, what's stopping you? Is it the pain, the exhaustion, the doubt creeping in, whispering that you're not good enough, that you should just quit? You're not alone. I've heard those voices too. I felt that weight. But you know what I did? I ignored it. Because the world doesn't care about excuses. It doesn't care if you're tired, if you're struggling, if you feel like you've already given everything you have. The world keeps moving, and if you don't move with it, you'll be left behind. You want to be strong? Then stop acting like the universe owes you something. It doesn't. Strength isn't given. It's earned. One battle at a time. One failure at a time. One moment of choosing to stand back up instead of staying on the ground. I've been there. I've bled for this. I've lost people. I've watched everything I believed in crumble. And I had two choices. Let it break me, or use it to become something unstoppable. And I made my choice. You don't get to choose what happens to you. Life will hit you harder than anything else ever could. It'll take from you, strip you down to nothing, and laugh while you struggle to get back up. But you do get to choose how you respond. Do you let it define you? Do you let it keep you down? Or do you stand up and show the world that no matter how many times it knocks you down, you will always rise again? Strength isn't measured in how much you can lift or how fast you can move. Strength is measured in how much you can endure and still keep going. And let me tell you something. You can endure more than you think. Every time you think you've reached your limit, you're only at 40%. That's right. You've still got more in you. More fight, more energy, more power. But you won't find it unless you push yourself past the point where you want to quit. That's where real growth happens. When your muscles are screaming. When your mind is telling you to stop. When everything in your body is begging you to give up. That's the moment you decide what kind of person you are. Are you the type to give in? Or are you the type to push through? To embrace the pain? To keep going? Even when everything in you is telling you to stop? You already know the answer. Because if you were the type to quit, you wouldn't be here right now, listening to this. You'd be sitting on the sidelines, watching others pass you by. But you're not. You're here. You're still in the fight. And as long as you're still fighting, you're still winning. So don't stop. Not now. Not when you're this close. One more rep. One more push. One more time getting back up. Because in the end, it's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's about persistence. The ones who make it to the top, they aren't the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who refuse to stay down. So what's it going to be? Are you going to stay where you are? Or are you going to break through everything holding you back and become the person you were meant to be? You already know the answer. Now prove it.